this is optibotimus coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformer Collector Club 2015 membership incentive figure, that being Deluxe class Lio Convoy. Now you get the box with it, and then you also get this foam insert, and then in addition to that you do get the instruction manual as well as his tech spec card. Now Lio Convoy, otherwise known as Lio Prime, was a character in the Beast Wars 2 series. And in that continuity, he was, as it says down here, the Supreme Commander of the Maximals. Now, for the actual read-up here, you got a nice image of him. And as you can see, it is just a repaint, but with a new head of the Deluxe class Orion packs that we got some time ago. Technical data, though, you see maxes out on just about everything except for Fire Blast, which is an 8, and Strength, which was a 9. And it says the balance of nature must be preserved by the unceasing battle for survival. As far back as his memory records extend, Lio Convoy has been entrusted by the builders with protection of the equilibrium in the ecosystem over which he presides. However, Lio Convoy's understanding is that if either the Maximals or Predacons were to achieve superiority over their enemies, the inevitable result would be an imbalance leading to the downfall of their society. He interprets the brutality of war as nothing more than natural selection at work. Lio Convoy is never seen without his Typhoon staff, which was presented him by the builders as a symbol of his authority. It continually emits a hyponic pulse that paralyzes any bioorganic transformer within a 1 kilometer radius. Unbeknownst to Lio Convoy, the same pulse exerts a limiting effect on his internal energon matrix, restricting a power the extent of which even the builders fail to fully grasp. So real cool detail on there. Like I said, you do have the instructions. I'm not going to go ahead and open this because we already know how to transform the guy, and because of that nature, we don't have to really focus too much on the transformation. But here he is, and then the guy really is a pretty cool looking figure. Now, in the original Beast Wars 2 series, he was a lion. So taking these weapons off, one thing that is absolutely cool for what the Transformer Collector Club did was they basically painted his alt mode to kind of resemble that of a lion's head. You can see the way that the paint is here, it gives a kind of mane sort of look. And then here you have his eyes, down here comes his nose, and then you got the little brown section, which would be like the very tip of his nose. Obviously down here is probably like his mouth, but really cool how they actually incorporated that somehow, some way in the figure's actual vehicle design. I really am very, very impressed with it. Weapon wise, this is his Typhoon staff, as they're calling it, and then he does come with his plasma cannon. In terms of the weapons, they are the exact same. Here's the Alpha Trions. This might be a little bit darker of a red color than this one, but they are basically the same, and then the gun's obviously the same. So getting this stuff out of the way and bringing in Orion packs, as you can see, they are exactly the same figure. Just the paint job is honestly a lot cooler on this guy. It just really comes across very nicely. One thing that I am noticing that's really kind of strange is that the gold that they use, like if you look here, it clearly, and it's even showing up on camera, is a different color than this. And it's like that kind of everywhere in terms of this gold paint. That's kind of weird. This is a little worse, I think, but generally I don't think it's all that bad. I think they did a really nice job with this figure. And obviously, like I said, because it does share the same mold, it is going to be the exact same looking figure here. So you do have that. You do see that the Autobot logo is inside Orion Pax's center section right there, whereas Lio Convoy's is just painted on the actual window, so it's not actually on that internal part like Orion's is, but really very, very cool looking. Now, because we have seen how to transform this before, I'm going to go ahead and skip it. If you do need any kind of help or instructions in that aspect, go ahead and check out my review for Orion packs. I'll put the link down in the video description. But all that being said, we're going to go from Lio Convoy looking like this to looking like this. And honestly, I really do like what they did with this. The problem that I do have is because I don't know, quality control or whatever, these pieces here feel a lot more loose than on the actual Orion packs one. It doesn't stay locked in very well, and that's a little unfortunate. I mean, as you move it around, it completely comes out, so that's something that I'm not a very big fan of, but the guy still looks terrific. I almost like this, the actual look for this mold, more than Orion Pax. So setting him there, let's bring in Orion and take a closer look at the differences. And obviously the first thing that jumps out at you is the color difference. Again, though, you can see that the color for this gold is completely different than what this color is, whereas this here nicely matches. This doesn't, and that's really kind of ugly. I'm not a very big fan of that. But also the head sculpt is completely new, so coming in to take a look at that, you can see that obviously this guy's got the more Orion Pax kind of look going for him. This one is the new head sculpt with Lio Convoy, and honestly, I think that this head works a little bit better. This one here kind of has a too small of a look going for it, whereas Lio's just has a much larger presence and kind of fits on the body a little bit more. This one just looks way too small, I think. That being said, though, I mean, they are still really great head sculpts. I just think that the Collector Club one just looks even better. Obviously, you can see also that the Autobot logo is on the inside of his windshield here, whereas this one, like I said, is just painted right on his chest. But, I mean, all in all, it's still a great looking figure. I mean, I really do have to give them credit. They do a great job in terms of reusing some figures. I mean, it's really quite impressive sometimes. Now, for his articulation, the head is on still, well, it's not really a ball joint. Well, it kind of feels like it's supposed to be a ball joint, but it really isn't. But a pretty good paint sculpt on there. You can see it's this nice kind of powder blue, which matches a little bit better with some of the blue highlights that are on the figure itself. You got that little bit right there. You got some down there. So all works fairly well. The shoulders here, though, rotate. They move in and out. They rotate at the upper part of the bicep. They bend here on soft ratchet joints at the elbow. The wrists also rotate around, so you get that. You can flex it in and out as part of the transformation. He rotates at the waist. The hips are on ball joints, so you get a nice forward and back rotation in and out. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh, bends here at the knee, and then the foot has some pivot and tilt to it because it's on a ball joint itself. So you get a lot of posability with the guy. It's honestly a favorite of mine. Really is. I can tell you that there's a lot of figures. Nemesis Prime they've done several times. Slipstream, which was one that I really liked. None of those have actually made their way into a permanent place in my collection. I really could look at this as being a permanent figure in terms of my display shelf. I just really think it's that cool. And while I don't know anything about Lio Convoy or anything of that nature, I mean, if you know me and know that I try to take some figures that kind of remind me of the original 13 Prime, this guy I could really fit in as my Onyx Prime, the first Transformer to have a beast mode, and he really doesn't even have a beast mode. But I've done that before, like with the protoform version of Optimus Prime, really given me a Prima feel. Then obviously having Vector Prime as well as Alpha Trion, the official figures. But for me, I really am tempted to take this guy and use him as my Onyx Prime. Now, it definitely doesn't look like him, you know, at least not in terms of what they've shown in the Covenant of Primus, but it works for me, so I'm pretty happy with it. Now, as I said, this is the incentive figure for the 2015 Transformer Collector Club. So what that basically means is that if you are a member, this is a figure that is automatically sent to you. You pay a membership fee each year, you get a couple quarterly magazines, and you get this guy. And I think it works. I really do like it. Well, you might not be able to get it now unless it's put on the club store, which as a member you also get cheaper prices on things that are in the club store. You might be able to find it there, or you might have to go on eBay, which is probably going to cost you a lot more. So I would consider joining the Collector Club. And if you are interested in doing that, just click on the link down in the video description. It'll take you to the Transformer Collector Club where you can read all about the actual membership and decide for yourself if this is something that you'd like to be a part of. As I said, this figure may not be able to make its way into your collection just yet, but keep your eyes open. Every now and then they do have sales, and he might show up. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/teambotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/optibotimus. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my website at optibotimusreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, see what I have coming up for future release, and also get your very own Optibotimus t-shirt. And finally, I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, don't forget to please like and comment, and be sure to subscribe so that you never miss a future review. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.